Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Before I start, guys, tomorrow we have a very important webinar in the community about support and resistance, where I will cover all my teachings over the years, what I have learned, how to master the support and resistance, and how to understand the basic concepts and how you can use those for your day trading, investing, swing trading. So that's the webinar tomorrow live for our annual members in the talent community. So I'm very excited for this one. Anyways, guys, another solid day. Earning seasons is not disappointing. We have been just killing it. I'm trying to make a video small today, so quick introduction. So these trades recaps, everything is from our community, my Twitter, or from any YouTube videos that I shared with you previously. Whatever the trade ideas are shared, these are the recaps from there. We only trade repeatable setups, repeatable system that we can repeat our whole life. That's what we do. We have a game plan every day. This was today's game plan. You see right there: Snap, Pins, Meta, IBM, Chipotle, RCX, Now, and bunch of others. Then we also create in the morning a plan for crypto, coin, MSTR, and then we have daily levels which we provide to our community members so they can trade with these levels. I will cover my SPY and QQQ. When I will talk about that, I will cover these levels in detail. And then we also have our what we have is my day-to-day 3 strategy. So we'll talk about our day-to-day 3 strategy and the plays today. Especially spot was a good play from our day-to-day 3 strategy. We will cover those play as well. So let's start. So let's start with the first play of the community, that was Tesla. So what was the trade on Tesla? How did we trade Tesla today? So let's look at that. We were long on Tesla, so let's check that out. By the way, guys, if you have not checked out my article that I posted, that was posted on Benzinga, Tesla provides great risk reward for long-term investors. Do check it out. I will post it in the description. I did my detailed analysis why Tesla is a great stock for the long-term investors. That's all covered on this Benzinga article. This also came on your Thinkorswim or other news feeds as well. But anyways, so what was our trade on Tesla? Let's look at it. We were long on Tesla. I was long, but I took the profits in middle of the day. I personally missed the later ramp up. So what the trade on Tesla was simple in the morning. Let's go back, look at our levels on Tesla. Our levels on Tesla were, sorry, my throat and it's still not fully recovered. Our support on Tesla was 160 and 157.51. Resistance pivot was 164 and 168. As soon as the market opened, I could see the strength pushing over the clouds. That's when I said long sum, just long sum there versus that 162 area. And we long sum, it pulled back. You see this price alert? That was my stop out price alert. I was going to stop out, but it held. So that it held. And then so that confirmed our long, and then started to push, and it pushed towards 166. And for us, it pushed from 163 to 166. Then it dipped back to the clouds. And then I missed this end of the day setup. I covered this end of the day setup in a lot of my other webinars. You can watch those. But Tesla was a nice little trade to start the day. And but when the market was kind of ripping, which we will discuss, and that's why, as I told everyone, you can hold Tesla long. So you can see everybody was long Tesla in the community. They were bouncing from 34.50. I did tell everyone to log right here when this was breaking 512. We logged here, so we longed 163s, we logged 166.50s, and we logged and we got out. But after that, then Tesla reclaimed, and that was a midday setup. Many traders traded that setup in the community. So let's go to the next one. By the way, you can pause the screen, see my guidance, and compare it and see how that worked out. Let's look at the best trade for the day, guys. If you remember my yesterday's video, I covered Meta in detail, how 400 level provides a great risk reward to trade the bounce, and today it literally paid. I was the part of the first big move, and we made like 100%, 80%, 70%. Community just nailed it, just really nailed it. I also shared this on Twitter. You can see that how we nailed Tesla this morning. You know, traders just played it very nicely, 200%, 100%. You know, that was a great guidance in the community. I'm also very proud of the way I handled and I guided on Meta. So let's go back and see what was the plan on Meta. The plan on Meta was neutral bias. We will watch the B minus curls, but it was bearish. So resistance pivot was 432, support was 408 and 400. These were some of our levels we were watching, but then we watched the price action, what happens at the open. We did not take a position right out of the gate. We didn't take position right out of the gate. We waited. So I let the amateur move past. When I saw the amateur move holding, that's when I said 4014 line in the sand. If market bounces, that will be our line in the sand to long it. And once I saw that pushing, I told everybody on the voice that now we can long it. The stops I gave was 417.50, resistance breakout 430, 432, 433, and the wider stops were 414. The ones I mentioned earlier, you see here, wider stops were 414, because these were the levels we identified by our technical analysis intraday. So we clearly know this is our risk. Another risk is right here, right under the 10-minute candle where 512 EMA starts, and then we longed it, and then there was a breakout over this level, right? So there was a breakout over this level right here, which I just showed you in this this one 430, 432, and that's where I added like another lot of a big size there as well. The target I gave everybody was 440. By the time we hit 440, my options went 100%, and then we hit 445s, and then we hit even more than the target. And that's where we took most of our profits. I rolled into the further profits, but when it dipped back, I closed all my lotos. But then Meta gave another trade end of the day when it reclaimed the clouds. And a lot of the traders in the community traded that trade on Meta end of the day or the middle day, right? This is again a repeatable system. It's bearish, that's fine. But when you see it making another push over the clouds, you get back long your stops right under these 10-minute candles or under the EMA clouds, and you long it rest of the day. So you see, whole community was on it today. Nancy really did good. Punjabi Pablo, Ambience, you know, I mean, hundreds of traders in the community just nailed it. I'm very proud of them, because the reason I'm proud of them, because I do the guidance, I'm on the live stream, I'm on the voice, but these are the guys and girls who are pressing the buttons, because they are learning these setups every day, day in, day out, and improving, right? We are not trading randomly. We have a system, a repeatable trading system, which unlike any other you will find anywhere. And I show you every day in my YouTube videos, or you know, all my recaps, Twitter. So yes, so very proud of Meta today. You see that, you know, all the timestamped guidance. You see my comments. You won't see, you can't hear what I was speaking on the voice. But definitely a great day in the community for everyone, for the Meta, big huge day, beautiful opportunity. And if you add it later, you should be proud of that as well. So next one we're going to discuss is ALGN. So ALGN was our earning play. It was a short. So let's go back and see what was the plan on ALGN. The plan on ALGN was 320 support, resistance 332, over 320 long, gap fill under it. So the plan was pretty simple. So when it breaks cloud here, you know it's a short. If you are trading it, right, you are watching it in a smaller time frame, and you can short it right away. If you missed that, then you have to watch for the next candle pop. Look what I'm saying. I said short the pops. I said that at 9:35. You know, the price was around it was around 314, 313, and it was popping here, and you short it there, and the target was, and I said 308 will confirm more downside, then room to 306, and then I said cover at 300. So 300 was my target. since I called it out, we went on to go to 300, even a little bit lower, but you see how we showed it at 312, 313. Even if we missed a good entry, we made decent profit on the shares. Maybe you risk one, you made 2 times your risk, right, or 3 times your risk. So definitely that was a great trade. I told everybody to cover 300, and look where we bounced. We bounced at 300 level, back up. It did reject later in the day, but I was not part of that trade. My trade was done in the morning, 10 a.m. fast and quick. So next one we are going to discuss, guys, is now. So now also we were short in the morning. So in the morning we were short on now. So let's look at that. What was the planning on now? So the planning on now was simple. I had a neutral bias. My support was 710 and resistance was 717.50. But as soon as I saw it breaking down, I said bearish as well. Break of 700 will give you a nice short. It breaks 700, it goes to 690 was my target, and then it hit 690, and that's where we bounces, and we were out of that short at that time. You can see my guidance here, right? So even if you were late, you still could scalp the 10 points there, and then later in the day it reversed with the market. That was okay. You could trade that reversal trade as well. But this was again a morning short, right? A morning short, and then into 10 a.m. And when you see this, something pushing into 512s and holding higher lows means it wants to reverse, and you could see that reversal over here on the 512s. So a nice short in the morning. If you got a good entry, you even got it from 710 all the way to 690. So next one we're going to talk about is CMG. So CMG was our lotto play today, right? So what was the setup? Look at the daily chart, right? It's an A plus setup. We have talked about it in previous videos, last earnings, ANET, CAT. There's so many examples. Repeatable setup. I have shown you again and again and again. So Chipotle was that setup. If we go back, see our morning plan, I said only a lotto play. Breakout over 30-50. Cautious in the bearish market, right? And then support was 3000, and look where it bounced. Right from 3000 area, the cloud area, right from there. You trade the lotos in the morning. If it's pulling back, lotos is 100% risk. You use this risk, and when it's bouncing there, you add more lotos. The lotos on Chipotle went from $4 to $30. If you invested $400, they turn into $3,000. So that was the lotto winner on Chipotle lotto options. That went 400% lotos there, right? So you can see that I clearly been giving the guidance, 100% risk on the lotos, 34.50 bounce, and then I even told people to roll into next lotos into 3150s. And when I told that, those 3150s went on to push 200% as well. Look where I said roll into 3150s, and even those went on crazy from 3100 to 3150. Even they went 100%. Lot of traders really did good in community on CMG. There was a lot of plays in CMG. Beautifully done by the community. Well done. So next one we're going to look at is NVIDIA. So what was the plan on NVIDIA? What was the trade on NVIDIA? Let's go and back look at that. NVIDIA, when I saw the breakout over 800, I gave the long. But let's go back, look at our levels on NVIDIA. Our levels that I provided on NVIDIA were 805, 781, and then there was also this cloud level, right? So that was the cloud. So as soon as NVIDIA started to push over that cloud level, I said long. If you do not chase, you can, if you are not able to add, you can wait on 800 pullbacks. And after that, it's all day trend, SPY QQQ bullish. We will talk about that reversal trade, and then all day long. And the target I gave NVIDIA was 820. Then I gave 835 next target, and we met those targets as well. You see, now after hours it's even going back to 850. So that was a beautiful trade on NVIDIA today. Complete guidance is right here, and you see the move. So SMCI was another play for us today, and and SMCI, I gave everyone. Let's go back and check our levels here first, right? Because we play these trades every day. The traders are already playing this. The breakout was 750 right here. So 750 was a breakout, and when you see that strength, I told everybody on the voice, yes, you can long SMCI. Put the risk under the clouds, you know, just long it, and you can put risk under 740. Even if you're buying 750, $10 risk. First target was 770, and then, you know, I said leave the runners for 800, and we almost met our 800 target. And when it break 512s, you know, I exited. You know, we didn't take any risk overnight, but we exited. So that was a nice trade from 750 to 800. You can see the guidance here, and you can see the plan pre-market levels on SMCI. All right, guys, next we're going to discuss one of our losers this morning, and that was again a B minus setup. So it's always a low probability, so that's why we only took a starter. So what was the plan on IBM? So IBM was selling off. The plan was neutral to bearish. We'll watch for B minus calls. The key level to watch was 170, 170. So as you see here, 170 was the pain all day. That's why we had that level on our chart. It tried to push, so I started a starter versus 167, risking 167, $1 risk. We did actually push, right? There was enough time to like scalp the amateur move. We did actually push to you know, a little higher, but then it failed 170, and I knew that it's not holding 170, it's gonna come back. And then that's what happened, and then it finally started to break the 512s and came back under the clouds, and I was out. So, you know, took a little more than $1 loss, and I was out. And you see what it did rest of the day. Chop, 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 chop. So there was no trade in this price action. We'll watch it tomorrow for day 2. Maybe it does some kind of a recovery, so we'll trade that. But for now, it was a loser for us. And if you shorted it, that's fine. You could short it versus 170. That would have been good as well. But as a long, it was a loser. So next one, guys, we're going to look at is Netflix. So let's look at Netflix. So Netflix was our day 3 setup, right? Day 3 setup. I gave the Netflix in my day 3 setup, and then it was our daily levels on Netflix was right here. Let's go 553, 555. So as soon as it turned over the clouds, you know, I told the community on the voice that's a good long. And then Netflix rallied all day over our pivots, right? You see the pivots I provide in the morning, and I try to update the community when I see something which is giving us a good long. And then Netflix was a really good one all day for the community. A lot of people were trading it. Kyle, Stefan, Steve, Booty Bandit was trading versus this 550 level, right? Risk was pretty defined on Netflix. So that was our Netflix trade in the community. So let's look at the next one. Next one was our spot. So spot again was our day 2 setup. You can see here 274 was the resistance, sorry, support, and 286 was the resistance pivot. So spot was moving over 274. That's the move of the clouds. You know, I alerted everyone that's moving over the clouds, and most of the community knows the rules around that long setup, right? So everybody, you know, so we traded it long. So spot was a nice day 2 long. You know, as soon as it's pushing over 512, you can maybe do a starter, and then you can add over 3450, and then all day trend of spots over my pivots that I gave 286.88, and then over that also it started to kept going and pushing here. Look at this breakout over the pivot I gave, right? 1, 2 rejection, 3 breakout. So that's why these levels are important, and that's why these strategies are important. And it's also bouncing on a daily 50 EMA. So another one that was pretty solid today was BMY. So let's see what was the game plan on BMY. The game plan on BMY was bearish bias to short the pops, 47.50, 48.30. And you see what happened? Right away, it faded, broke the pivots, and all day fade Look at this daily chart, just a beautiful breakdown. When I see these kind of breakdowns, that make me confident about for these shorts. You know, you could, even if you chased and risk little, little more, from 47 bucks, you still got like $3 short, just like I mentioned in the game plan, bearish bias to short the pops. So let's look at BA. So BA Boeing was initially our day 2 short. You can see that we have levels on BA here. Our levels on BA were 162 was support, 165 was resistance pivot. So initially we were short BA in the morning based upon our day 2 rules, and that short was working fine from the 163 pops to 160, and then it started to curl with the market. You stop out here when you're seeing higher lows, and you stop out here. You short at 162, 163s, and you get out here because it's not working. It's pushing over the clouds, and then it pushes under the clouds, and then it makes this nice, cup, and it makes a nice handle as well over the EMA clouds, and that's what you know that it's like a reversal coming here, and you get out. And then a lot of traders traded it long over the clouds, 512 reclaim, and then there was a 3450 reclaim. So Boeing was a good one on the lotos and on the calls all day for the community. So it was a really nice trade as well, Boeing day 2 setup. So let's look at SPY QQQ SPX. A lot of money made today on our SPY QQQ. This was our main winner today all day on SPY QQQ SPX. We guided, Tape was on there, Tape, a great trader. He was there, I was there, we were on voice all day. We had these multiple breakouts. I'll put some screenshots later, multiple 100%. You can see this is 80%. Then we have another 100% in the morning. And so there were multiple longs there. Now, what was the long? I can show you that. This one also I gave it on Twitter. So if you want to see that, let me show you. This one also was trade that I gave everybody on Twitter. This was all day breakout. So let's go and look here, right? So what do you see? Let's go back from the morning setup. So you see that initially we were bearish, that's fine, and we're still heavy. Now in the middle of the day we see this setup, a flat top breakout and this downtrend line breakout. So it's setting up, right? So it was setting up, and then it breaks out. We take those SPX calls on that breakout that went 38%. Then it's pushing over here as well. And then our first target was 3450, and my calls went 100%. And after that, later in the day, we are flagging over 3450. You see how it's holding 512? That is where you buy, right? That's the cup in this, cup and handle formation kind of, and then this is where you buy, and that's the second setup that's over 3450, and then that even went another 100% on SPX calls, 30% on QQ calls. And when we have a gap, guys, then that's when we fill the gap. There's a gap, and that is the day you load up on the calls excuse me, because that we have a chance to fill the gap. There's a lot of range, and that's why I have this target here on QQQ and SPY. And then after that, and then end of the day, we dipped back a little bit, it made another cup, and it added another like of a handle here. You can see this nice little pattern, and this doing this like this, and this doing this, and this is a very bullish pattern, and that's also end of the day long trade. So SPY QQQ was amazing for us all day. You saw those screenshots, and it was all day guidance on SPY and QQQ in the community, and literally traders nail it. Tape was on top of it all day. It was a beautiful trade on SPX. You see a lot of people were long and making good money on SPX QQQ. Defined risk with the system. You see this setup, right? You see this curl, long here, then this cup setup, long breakout. So it was all day curl, SPY, long setup. So let's close the video now discussing Google. So Google is our swing trade, investment trade. We bought it at 130s. I'll show the screenshots tomorrow. But the reason I was talking about Google was, let me just show you my tweet. That way, you know, we want to make sure we don't talk about hindsight on anything. Let's go back here. Let's see this Google chart that I gave everyone. So 160 is a breakout pivot here. A plus setup, all-time highs, consolidation. And what happens after the earnings? Google breaks out of that consolidation, 160 breakout, and pushes. We didn't fill, I didn't fill. I was trying to fill. I was trying to chase this breakout, and by the time I filled, I was over 170. I still made like, I still made some like $7-8 per share profit, and for the day trade, but our swing position is going to be solid in the morning. So you see there, I have 173 average, this one, and but point I'm trying to show you that this was the bullish chart. That's why these breakouts are so strong. Remember the earning tips that I told you in the on my earning trading tips. So Google was right from that earning tips, so then you can understand how the breakout happened, right? So always watch my shorts and my earning tips, or where I teach you those setups. Anyways, guys, I think my throat is still not fixed, and my sound is going to be more messed up more I speak. So hopefully I'm better by tomorrow's webinar. But it will be a fun day tomorrow, guys. A lot of action. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And if you want to join the community, big webinar tomorrow, and I'll see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.